Welcome to Healthy and Wealthy Conversations, where we discuss everything that leads to health and wellness for your whole spirit, soul, mind, and body. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Healthy and Wellness Conversations. I am your host, Casey Bell, and today's guest is Christopher Terzakos. Let's get this show started. So you have a book out where you tell about your testimonial of you changing your testosterone. So let's start from the very beginning.
Okay.
What is testosterone and why do men need it? And what are the side effects of low testosterone?
Okay. Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. So yeah, testosterone. Testosterone, actually every man needs testosterone to survive. Testosterone is the main sex hormone. It also controls your mood swings, bone density. It's good for bone density. Keeps you active. Testosterone gives you a lot of energy and to feel young again, feel strong. Most people, today, especially the high school kids, I think 11% of the high school kids, they're all taking supplements of testosterone. They play for the football team, baseball teams. They want bigger muscles because testosterone does build muscle. But yeah, every man needs testosterone. It starts to decline when you're 30 years old, sometimes earlier. Every 10 years, your testosterone level will drop. I'm 63 years old. To tell you a little about my story, in my early 50s, I was always an athlete. I came very close to playing Major League Baseball in my younger days with the Cincinnati Reds. I was always active in the gym. Always felt good. But in my early 50s, around 52 years old, Casey, I wanted to step up my game. So I started doing some PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, without a doctor's consent, obviously. I was doing it on my own. And I think my testosterone back then was, I don't know, maybe 1,100, up 1,000. And then, 52 to 59, I made a decision that, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm gonna stop. I finally realized that after stopping, several months later, I felt tired. I was no energy. I was losing my muscle mass. Not that I'm a bodybuilder, but I'm pretty fit. I was feeling depressed. So I knew something was wrong. Went to a doctor, took a blood exam back in August of 22. This is right after COVID. Everybody was under a lot of pressure back then. I get it. So my testosterone level came back 81. Now, so 81 is terrible. 81, you're a prime candidate for TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Prime candidate. So 81, I said, okay, I went seen a couple of doctors. They all said the same thing. You're a candidate for TRT. And I, thought about it, talked to my wife, and we decided that we were going to self-heal. Did all the research. I was up to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning doing research how I can self-heal. So then I started my mission. I believe it was back in August of 22. I went on my program, and by November, I'm sorry, of 2021, of November 22, I went back for a blood exam, and my exam, it's in my book, the 2 exams actually, the tests are in my book, the results. It came back at 648. So I went from 81 to 648, self-heal. Do you have any questions?
Well, first tell us, you said you were 81. What is the average number we're supposed to be at?
Okay. So the average male should be between 300 and 450. If you're between that range, you're fine. You're okay. If you're higher than 450, that's even good too. It's even better. But if you're below 300, I suggest that either you go to see your doctor, see what the doctor will tell you. More than likely, if you go to a doctor, Casey, a conventional doctor, more or less, they're going to tell you that you need TRT. If you go to a holistic doctor, which I went to, they're going to tell you, you can self-heal. So if people buy my book, my program's in the book, it may work for you, it may not work for you. But my experience and my wisdom is in that book that I wrote, because I am the living person who did this. Was it hard? In the beginning. Once I got used to it, it's a breeze after that. I felt great. I'm back to working out the way I was back then. I won't bench press what I was bench pressing before when I was on PEDs, but I'm in great shape. I have a 30-year-old body. I have a 20-year-old insides. My blood, heart rate, everything is internally, I'm 20 years old, according to my holistic doctor. On the outside, I have a 30-year-old body. And a lot more comes with this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me and I'll keep going.
Sure. Well, first of all, the TRT, is that surgery? Is it drugs? What exactly is the therapy that the doctor was suggesting?
That you have to, good question. I appreciate that. So every week you have to inject testosterone in your body, in your muscle. It could be your thigh, it could be your upper buttocks area, it could be your arm, your shoulder. Every week, I believe they microdose you. They give you a half a cc. You got to go see a doctor twice a month in the beginning, and then after you're on the regimen for a couple of weeks, you got to see a doctor once a month. You got to get your blood checked. You got to donate blood because your blood thickens. Your red blood cells get higher on TRT. You're subject to a heart attack. You're subject to stroke, high blood pressure. And for those reasons, I said, this is not for me. I don't believe in conventional medicine. It's not the way I lived my whole life. I believe in self-healing. I have different techniques of how to do it. And so I answered your question about the TRT.
So the book is 7 things you can do. Can you give us at least 2 things you did to change your testosterone?
Absolutely. Okay, good question again. First, you got to release all the stress from your life. I know you're not going to release all the stress from your life, but at least 75% of it, you got to release it. So releasing stress, and the reason for it is because cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that comes from stress that is a blocker, the testosterone blocker. So see, now you have testosterone production, and now you have blockers. So the blocker is cortisol. Cortisol is related to stress. So that's why I said you got to get rid of your stress to bring the cortisol level down so the testosterone level could bypass the cortisol and produce testosterone. So that's one of the factors that are in my book, is release the stress. The other is to increase your testosterone would be natural sunlight. The power and the energy of the sun, the natural vitamin D. By the way, vitamin D is essential for production of testosterone. It's like number 1. Vitamin D will definitely raise your testosterone naturally. You could take a vitamin D supplement, it's not going to work the same as the natural sun. I live in Clearwater, Florida. I'm in the sun 5 times a day. I walk my dog 15 minutes each time, 5 times a day. I go to the beach. We have beautiful beaches here in Florida. I get natural sunlight. So I just gave you 2 items. I'll give you one more that everybody probably knows is sleep. And the reason for sleep reduces cortisol. I mentioned cortisol earlier. When you have a sufficient amount of sleep, which is 7 or 8 hours a day, your cortisol will drop, testosterone will produce.
So for those, I guess you could say, who have access to medical care, how often should someone get themselves tested? Because this is, to be honest, I've heard of testosterone. I've never heard of going to the doctor to get it tested. Is this like, do you have to specifically ask for it, or do they just do a regular test and that's a part of the testing?
No, you go to a doctor. Actually, Casey, you don't really need to go to a doctor. You can set up an appointment with Quest Diagnostic, where they do the laboratories, the labs. You could do it online. You set up an appointment. You could tell them that you want a testosterone check or you want a hormone panel check. That's what I did. When I got my results, I was 81. That was a whole panel. I mean, it must have been at least 50, 60 tests. But part of that panel was the hormone. Us men, when we get older, as I mentioned, we all should go for hormones. I know, I'm going to give you a little funny metaphor. When you go outside your house, your next door neighbor is the nicest person in the world. Hi, how are you? You're not feeling good because your hormones are no good. I go in meetings. I have conference meetings all the time. I talk to people. Their hormones are not balanced. So we, as men, men's health, we should always check our hormone balance. You want to become a better father, you want to become a better husband, a better man, you want to become a better boss if you own a company, go check your hormones. We all have issues in life. Yeah, I get it. Kids, whatever, the car broke down, the boiler broke. But really, go check your hormones. When your hormones are balanced, everything else, okay, we could get around that. The boiler break, we'll get the boiler fixed. If the hormones are not balanced, you're all over the place. You're just not right as a person. You're just not right as a human being.
So once you fixed your problem, what was the inspiration, or what caused you to share it in a book? Because many people, when they figure something out, they just figure it out. They don't really share it. So what inspired you to write a book about this?
I want to help people. I want to help all men from the ages of 25 to 75, 80 years old. I want to help them. There's more to it other than the natural sunlight. There's more to it than sleep. There's more to this. You just got to be dedicated. You got to be dedicated and you got to be disciplined. And then you can do this. You can have a better life. You can feel good. You can look good. My program, there's exercise. You have to do forms of exercise 3-4 times a week. There's food. There's foods that you shouldn't eat, and there's foods that you should be eating. So if you have any other questions, feel free to go ahead.
Sure. So where did you get the knowledge to know how to publish? Where did you go to get the book published? How did you know where to get started and how to get started in publishing your book?
I just studied. I did a lot of studying. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of testing myself. Spent all kinds of money, different supplements that don't work. Remember, testosterone is a big business. It's all over the place today. Testosterone, huge business. And the way they write things, oh, increase your testosterone in 3 weeks. Not true. It's not going to happen. If you self-heal, it's not going to happen. You start feeling, on my program, I started feeling a change after 8 weeks. I started feeling better. Okay. After 6 months, I felt great. No injections. I don't have to worry about a stroke, heart attack. Didn't have to worry. Eating healthy, which I like to talk about. You know, I want to educate people on foods that they really should not be eating. Okay. I also want to tell people about the pollution in the air. I want to talk about the Wi-Fi, how the radiation in your cell phone, microwave, the radiation alone will harm your hormones, the radiation.
So, can you give us at least one food that is popular that we eat that is destroying our health?
Fried food. Trans fat. Trans fat, it harms the hormones. It makes you tired, raises your cholesterol, thickens your blood. You're subject to heart attack, heart disease from trans fat foods. You know, Kentucky Fried Chicken, I don't recommend. McDonald's, obviously, I don't recommend. Burger King, all the fast food places. I think Taco Bell was rated #1 of the worst fast food place to eat was Taco Bell. I could never tell you the last time I ever was near any of these places in my life. It's been many, many years. Maybe when I was 20 years old, I went to McDonald's. But I don't eat in such form. I eat organic vegetables. I eat organic, no dairy. Another thing, dairy causes inflammation. I eat wild salmon. I eat all the healthy nuts that you can have. The non-organic fruits and vegetables, by the way, are sprayed with pesticides. Pesticides is another harmful chemical that will harm your hormones, is pesticides. And you know, a lot of people don't realize it. They're like, hey, I'm eating healthy. I had spinach today. Yeah? You had organic spinach or you had spinach that was sprayed with pesticides? Big difference. So I would watch, you know, if you can't afford organic, because I do know it's a little more expensive than traditional vegetables and fruits. But if you can, try to stay on the organic side of the foods. You know, I have a friend. He's a surgeon. His name is Philip. He talks about he's a heart surgeon. He talks about like every one of the clients that go in for heart surgery. They always ask him the same question: why did this happen to me? And his answer is one sentence: because you didn't eat real food. If you ate real food, you wouldn't be getting surgery today. And they say, what's real food? Real food is exactly what I just told you. Organic fruits and vegetables, grass-fed meat. I would not eat meat with hormones that were injected into it. I eat grass-fed meat, pasteurized chicken. You know, so eating healthy plays a big role on your hormones, your production of testosterone, and your well-being. You know, when you eat healthy, your mind thinks different. When you eat unhealthy, your mind shifts because you ate unhealthy. And that I know for sure.
Thank you. So is there anything else you would like to share with us about your journey and
yeah, I like to inform people, please, to get off sugar. Please, if you can, avoid sugar. You're going to have a lot of problems in your life in the future if you're on sugar. Sugar is bad for your heart, bad for your blood pressure, obesity, you gain weight. It's bad for your mind. So if you have a bag of sugar in the house, dump it. That's a big thing is sugar. You can get rid of the sugar. I mentioned the trans fats. If you could stop trans fats, Kentucky Fried Chicken is not your friend. Trust me, that's not your friend. If you can stay on some healthy nuts, macadamia nuts, Brazilian nuts, pistachios are great. They're all good for dopamines. Dopamines, they make you happy. People actually take dopamine pills to make them happy, and they become addicted to dopamine pills. I can tell you that if you ate ginger, fresh ginger every day, every morning or afternoon, watch how happy you get, because it increases your dopamines. And when you increase dopamines, you increase your testosterone level. Now you're a happy camper.
Oh, thank you for being on the show. Where exactly can we find your book?
You can find my book, Casey, on it's fitforjoy.org/self-healing with Chris. So again, it's fitforjoy.org/self-healing with Chris. All my information is on there. I have products that I have taken on that site. And I'm soon going to be uploading pictures so people can actually see what I look like at 63, which, by the way, I'll be 64 in the next couple of months. So I'll be uploading some pictures so people can see me. And also, if people want me to coach them, it's all on my website there, and I'll be more than happy to coach you.
That is all the time we have for you today on Healthy and Wealthy Conversations. I want to thank you, the audience, for taking the time to watch, and I would like to thank our guest, Christopher Terzakos, for stopping by and sharing his journey with us. Thank you. Have a great day.